Ooh, what a day, what a day. Let's check sound before we get started. Oh, great. Why didn't that message get sent? All right, let's go ahead and check sound to make sure our beautiful voice is heard. Cool. How does this look on mobile? Looks like absolute shit still. All right. So we left off last week going through collections and posting messages in the Discord app or in Discord. Still can't get my fat instance on this computer to run properly. I haven't spent much time. I took some days off yesterday and today for my day job. I still worked my night job last night, which was like probably one of the harder nights. Very tiring, but I got through it, and I even did workouts and everything. So I was kind of proud of myself in terms of getting better with my fitness. But yeah, so I said all that. Said all that to say that I didn't do anything with this as per usual. As always, I'm talking about changing that. So that is something I'm actively working on in one way, shape, or form. But it's just kind of hard with the two jobs. Started watching Baki on Netflix. Started using my Netflix subscription, like actually using it. Yeah, man, a lot of shit happened today. Personal stuff happened, so. But that person will be all right when they stop being fucking stubborn. I only do so much for people, to be honest. We got Windows 0 here, so PM2. We're gonna do logs. Let's do this PM2 log, and with that you can actually do PM2 logs, and then the actual. I think you can actually do the logs of the process. So in this case, should be this Obfuscate Discord bot. So I should only get the logs of all the processes for this this app. Now, what I wanted to do. Why is it all showing up as one? What? So it's weird right here. It's just like 5, and then it says 1 here. Because if I go PM2 status, I think I could just do it for the Obfuscate. No, I can't. Right. Oh, okay. So ID 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So it's sequential with all the other processes that are running. Yeah, FAT is running, but I can't get it by web server. And I tried to edit my Etsy host file too. Hide this. Edit my Etsy host file too, and on the Windows side, and still can't get it to work right. It's kind of weird. Excuse me, I don't know exactly what that is. Right. So let's look at the logs, get that going. So tonight, what I want to do. As always, hey, thank you guys for joining. Really do appreciate it. Let's start off with a little bit of artwork, see what we got. It's kind of cool. It's funny because I was watching Castlevania. I finally finished that, and that was a really good series. Now I'm watching Baki on Netflix. I'll probably I'll probably watch 1 or 2 more series pretty soon before I go back into my anime dormant state where I don't really watch much anime. That stuff takes away a lot of time, and actually I've been doing a lot of time just away from the computer in general and thinking about other stuff. Had an interesting project working with cron, and I learned a little bit about cron expressions, so you can kind of be programmatic with using cron. At the end of the day, though, I'll take away all that complexity away from cron, have it run at a certain time, and then the script, I'll have it run. So what's supposed to happen, right, is I have to send out reminder emails on the week of payday. So payday's Friday, but on Monday and Tuesday, reminder emails have to go out to the rest of the company. It's like, okay, well, how do you do that in cron and make it, to where it runs, on these different days, right? Or that the week of. So I wanted to see if there's a way I could do it like every other week, starting on this date and all this other stuff. And then I just looked at it and I was just like, no. It doesn't make sense to add that much complexity to something as simple as cron, especially when it comes to like maybe even making changes later on. If anything, just add complexity within the script that you're writing and have all the logic run. But in cron, just have it run. Like I have to send a reminder out 8 a.m. on Monday and Tuesday. And it's 2 different reminders. So just have it run every Monday and every Tuesday of every week of every month. And I have to say it like that because this is how cron, you have to write cron jobs. But you run it on every single Monday and every single Tuesday at 8 a.m. Just run it then. That's it. And then the script does the logic of, okay, should I send an email this week or not? Because then in the script, now I can say, count from the very first day of the year, because it's actually really interesting how paydays work. So if I could bring up a calendar, January. So the way the paydays work, it's like the first Thursday. You have to find the first Thursday of the year. So if the year ends on Thursday the 31st, or December 31st falls on a Thursday, then the next Thursday, and then that's your first payday. And then it just goes every other week from there. So, I already have code that was adapted to this, or that found this. And you have to just find what is, figure out the, January 1st of the current year, and then find that first Thursday. Once you find that first Thursday, then you find the first payday. Or I think it's the first Thursday. Yeah, it's the first Thursday. And then that's the first payday. So it's like, I was like, whoa, how the hell? Like, how did you figure that out? Or like, how is that like set in stone? It's kind of crazy when you have to program stuff around things that are, I don't like this picture though. Things that, we deal with on a regular basis. I don't know what the fuck this is. Is that like, ew, Jesus Christ, bug boy. Jesus, that is creeping me out. I don't like that. That was actually really ugly looking. Oh, man, what's another good picture, man? I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you have to program stuff around these things that you see on a regular basis and have to deal with in your life, and you just don't, know how people calculate, your paydays. Like, how do people determine that? You just know that my payday wasn't this week, so it's got to be next week, and that's usually it. But it's just like, okay, how is it figured out from from its epoch, from when it started? This is a pretty cool picture. Yeah, so how do you figure that out? So I thought that was pretty interesting of how you figure that out. Ooh, I like this one. Yo, bro, I probably already have been using this guy's pictures before. I might add this to the phone. Really like the colors on this one. Usually like colors where it's a little bit more radiant, but let's see what this person has. And yeah. I knew exactly who this artist was. I have like so many of these pictures. Like this is my, like when you turn on your phone, the image on the background. So I have this one, and Togasa Bato, and what's it called? this one, which is like kind of cool. Like when I turn it on, I still get surprised when you have that gun in your face like that. But yeah, I love the colors that this artist used, and I've shown them here before. But I saw this and I saw the eyes, freaking amazing! Like just colors and just the looks on the characters' faces, especially the female characters. Yeah, that's a great way to start the stream right there. But yeah, as I said, yeah, when you have to figure these things out and you have to like look at, you know, how to calculate the first Thursday of the year, and then once you find the first of the year, then you have to find the first Thursday, and then it'll be that subsequent Friday, and then you have to add 14 days to it, and then you just keep on iterating through that over and over and over again, and then using different JavaScript functions. I might actually put a gist together of how I'm doing all this. I have to remember to do that and then actually link it. If not this stream, the next stream or something like that. I don't really want to take care of that right now or look at that. Miguel, what's up, bro? Hey, man. Hey, bro, put your, let me see if I can make you a moderator. Hold on, I gotta go to YouTube and do it. YouTube. But Miguel, I gotta go to YouTube. Sorry. Make you moderator. All right, bro. Hey, go ahead and link your Twitch in the chat here for those catching the playback. But Miguel is a good friend of mine, and he does video game streams on Twitch that look a lot better than the crap that I'm doing, and I just gotta fight. I probably use what Miguel's using because he's doing I think he's using like Streamlabs or something like that, and with his Streamlabs, like he has really good quality on that. So I gotta finally I keep talking about it, and I really do just need to go ahead and do it. But yeah, man, go ahead and put your what's it called, your stream and everything like that in here, bro. Appreciate you joining in and dealing with the poor stream quality. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this app and actually add some, OBS Studio. Yeah, well, you're talking about Streamlabs, and then there's, of course, OBS, but like that OBS Studio should be the easier one, right? Like the easier way of doing it, I believe. But yeah, link that there, Brewski. So what we're going to do is take this app, and then we're gonna make this app actually function and start every time and clean up some code, and take it kind of out of the test realm and start injecting little things in there, just so we can actually Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're gonna just so we can start injecting this and starting to build certain things on this and make it an actual quote unquote official app. So we got to find our insertion point, and then once we find our insertion point, then we can go ahead and do some other stuff here. One. All right. So first, my insertion point is, or with most Node.js apps, the insertion point is always index.js. I mean, you can make it anything you want, really, because it's defined in our package.json. And when we do like npm run start or npm start, which is a shortcut to npm run start, when we're doing those things, it's essentially just running this. So what I like to do, or what I have in this case, is I have my PM2. I use PM2 for like all my process management. You can use PM2, you can use NodeMon. PM2 is a little bit more robust than NodeMon from what I've seen, and you can do some more configuration. For the configuration, we have our ecosystem.config.js. That ecosystem or that ecosystem file is referenced here in package.json for our start, for our dev, and then we have that code, or we have that what's it called? That command. There we go. That command and any triggers, like in this case, environment production, environment dev, so on and so forth. And then if I wanted to stop instance and the status of instance, I wrote a script already called service.js. And I have that doing some things called, like, for instance, I want to kill or stop the instance. I can do a -K, and then that will run another PM2 command. But what it does, it actually takes into account Obfuscate. It takes into account and gets data from log files, and then there's information that's written to different log files that I actually have. So if I cat log storage, and then this is where I store all my logs. Again, this is defined in my ecosystem file. In fact, let's look at that ecosystem file first. I have that within the home, the root directory of the app, and then we have our ecosystem here. So here, this is where I define it. It's pretty much a module.export, and it's a JSON object. So within that JSON object, and if you look at this, I can actually have multiple apps. So we have one key here, which is apps, and then that has that has an array of other keys, or of other JSON objects, I should say. And then this is where I define everything. So name and everything like that. I also, through my research and what I actually done in the past, the PID file. So wherever I have all or wherever I have the process ID of the current process ID. So if I wanted to actually kill it, and we'll get out of this here. So if I do nano server service.js, and this is it's just a node script. So in this case, by doing shebang or hashtag exclamation point. Yeah, Miguel, appreciate you posting that, bro. Definitely go ahead and check out Miguel's Twitch. So that's twitch.tv/ISAZ360, and watch him get killed, because he pretty much sucks. Just play. But yeah, man, Miguel's like trying to be up and coming with that, man, and trying to stream. It's definitely a passion of his, so definitely check my brother out, man. All right, so this is just a node script. So by doing user bin env and then node, this is how you define it as a node script, and then it runs the node executable for this script, or the node binary, and then the node binary will execute all the subsequent lines of code here. So here I have like things that I need. The biggest thing is argv here, and that allows me to do triggers, as I like to call them. So my -K, my whatever, -H, you know, how to use, if you wanted to do like a help or something like that, you can do all that. I love it. All right, yeah. So if I do a .K, .S, .D, or sorry, -K, -S, -D, -R, so I can restart the instance. I believe, what is this? I can delete the instance if I wanted to from PM2. So I don't have to do like a long PM2 command. So in this case, delete all. I can do all that type of stuff. And this may not be the best thing to do if I look at it. You know, I'm just thinking about that right there. And I do this synchronously because I want this to like happen, like boom. I don't want it to wait or anything else like that. I want it to happen, and I want it to be blocking. So I don't really care about it being asynchronous or non-blocking in terms of the event loop. I want this to happen, and I want this to execute and happen. Now that doesn't denote order or if anything else happens beforehand. It just denotes that it will block any other process and run, and then it'll block the event loop in a sense. So it'll pretty much clog up the highway. It's how it is. But yeah, I'm looking at this, and it's like PM2 stop all. What I might want to do is, yeah, there's a couple things I probably need to do here in terms of looking at this. But we bring in like the core vars file, so I have the project name, or project name, and then, you know, where all this information is here, because this is, yeah, this is my PID, so I can actually get that. So I'll show that file now. It's been a while since I looked at this, and it does look like it needs some work here. So yeah, maybe we can work on that now because it's not like it's an app that's like crazy or anything like that. Well, yeah, what I don't like about this, where it says PM2 stop all, it really should say stop the instance and stop the instance ID. So that's not good because if I do stop all, it should do every single thing that I have running, and that's not what we want here. So we'll just do some testing and probably change all this stuff here. And this is available in the Node.js boilerplate script. So with that, what I'll do is I'll have to go and change that and go from there because that's where all this stuff comes from. And as you can see, I try to make it to where it's like, you know, it gets filled in by certain variables that are or outside variables or things that are imported. All right, so more work than I thought on this. There's a lot of things to fix. But, you know, all this stuff in the ecosystem file that gets generated through the boilerplate script and gets filled in. So like the process name or the app name and things like that. All that stuff gets done there. But let's look at our PID file. And with our PID file or our process ID file, this is how I have that file written. So let's go here. Actually, go ahead and cap that. May not be. And I need ID. Oh, so this is something I did not account for. So like this wouldn't work. Because if I look at this PID file, we can see that since I use PM2's clustering option, I have different processes. So with those different processes, then this would not work in terms of the PID file because it actually appends the process number to the name of the to the PID file. So I was trying to account for something, but that's not going to work. So this is this is some way to actually like improve on the design of our the infrastructure of our app. So yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that. So 4.5 PID. So in this, you can't really, you can see it, but what happens is it doesn't output a new line or anything like that, or there's no new line character. So but the PID is 534. So it stores that PID there. Now it's kind of okay. Makes me wonder how I can figure this out here. All right, so Discord bot, and then I have the kill JSON. Yeah, okay. So it looks like it has 535. That might be whatever the last thing that was written to in terms of the last thing that wrote to this file. Interesting. All right, let's put it to the test. If I go back, let's go to our package.json, and I want to get the run command or the npm command so I can actually stop an instance. So, and let's go ahead and split this vertically here. Yeah, I don't usually do this often, but I don't want to, because it's a little bit annoying, especially when you have like 3 screens or 3 terminals or virtual terminals open. Like you have to tab between all of them. I usually only do this if I have to like watch the process and do some other stuff. Also, I don't get a greatest view, so let me do this. Increase the font. All right, cool. All right, so in this case, what I will do is I want to do stop instance. So I have to do the stop dash instance command. So npm run stop instance. All right, and then that should give us, all right, cool. So now I should be able to do PM2 status. MongoDB failed. Shutting down MongoDB, error command failed, Obfuscate. So 56. So 6 and then 56. I'm not sure if it's doing that because, you know, it's not going to shut down MongoDB multiple times because it's already done. That's another thing. Running in cluster mode, it's going to run that command for all the different all the different instances across the different cores. So how do you have it run only on one instance? And then also, what if one process failed, but the other instances are running in cluster mode and they're working properly? Do you just say, hey, only instance 0 do this? I do have code for that. It's an if statement, and it's in there. So let's see here. So PM2 status. Yeah, you see that? So I just stopped everything here, and that's not what we want. Okay, let's fix that. Now, if I just did stop instance in OS-K, so if I go back here, I go to my service.js, -K says stop all, so boom. And then stop instance ID. So instance.id, and that's determined up here. So instance info, and then that instance info will give me this information here. So let's look for instance.id, instance ID, required call. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, it's defined here, but I thought it was instance info is, oh, this instance info should write to the kill JSON file. All right, but it's defined here actually. So let's, if I wanted to run this, okay. So kill JSON, 535, PM2, stop instance ID, and then the instance ID. If I did kill and I did stop all, okay. And we just have to do a start to get everything running again. So if I do npm start, sorry. You try hard to help some people, and I don't know. I know I'm harsh on some things, but sometimes you just get to the point where you don't. Yeah, you just don't care about that shit anymore. That's a reflection or a bit of introspection and expression for another video, I guess. But yeah, so npm start, and that should start this here. All right, cool. So that starts everything. And what I want to do is run our stop instance command again. And let's get a PM2 status. So that's stopped. So it stopped it, which is great. Let's go to fat. So I have to do this and go to fat, npm start. All right, cool. And then cd dash, go back to the previous directory that you're in, and then run npm start. And that's just the nature of npm. You have to run it from the directory. So even with PM2, it actually does a cd command, goes to the directory, runs npm start, and then goes from there. So it runs it within the apps directory or apps main root or root directory, and everything is referenced from there, of course. So So let's do our kill or stop instance and see what it stops. And get our PM2 status. And it stopped everything. Oh, wait, I didn't write this. Okay. PM start. PM start. So you should have everything going. And then what I want to do is PM2 or stop instance. And I'm only logging for Discord bot. But if I did like PM2 logs and then without the process name, it'll do it for everything that PM2 is actually overseeing, which is everything here or everything you see in this list. All right, so need PM2 status. Okay, great. Okay, no, not great. So what it did is it stopped just that instance. Oh man, oof, this is going to be a pain. So what I have to do is I have to rewrite the script. And I have to rewrite the script to take into account cluster mode and see how that would work. Oh, that's funny. I actually did this myself. So I thought it was this thing. I thought it was PM2 doing it itself, but I actually write these files and it should be iterating through all of these. Maybe you could iterate through all these different files and then, do the PID. So this is one of the problems is that I haven't touched this portion, this code, this bit of code here. This is actually a part of, I think, the Growbox project. And this is how I started working with it and I established this framework. Yeah, I think it was Growbox STEM. I started establishing a framework like this. So I do want to get back into that. I actually started pulling some stuff out of my pump house, which is my storage right now. And I do want to get back into that. And I think I guess this will be a way of doing that. So let's work on the script. Let's work on the infrastructure. This is not what I had planned, but I do want to fix this. So what do we have a problem here? I want to stop every clustered instance for this, for this process. So how can I do that? First, let's kill all other windows here. Great. I don't think. Weird. Why is this not doing it? Okay. I was doing Shift Q to kill all the other windows. So let's go to 1 and split. It's the only thing I don't like, and I haven't figured out a way around this, but what? Oh, freaking had caps lock on. That's why some of the commands weren't working. Let's suppress that by accident. So 2, there we go. So I need to fix a couple things here. So I need to stop all the instances. Now, this would require some research because I need to find out all the clustered stuff. Or all the things that are clustered. Okay. PM2 cluster. So handy Google. So there's stop all. So let's see here. How to start node with cluster mode. So it says stop all, but one thing I want to see is if I can actually target all. There we go. So reload, as opposed to restart, which kills and restarts the process, reload achieves a 0-second downtime. So, okay, so instead of doing restart, we can do a reload. So that's something. In production environment, you may need to wait for the remaining queries to be processed or close connection before exiting. On PM2 reload context. All right, this one, yeah, let's split the screen here. And what we'll do, because I like this here, and I've done this before, but I want to see if I can make an improvement on what I already have. So in our index.js, index.js, I have this pretty much this code here. And I want to see, okay, so stopping the instance here. And as you can see, there's an if statement here. So if process.env, so process.environment, which is built into Node.js, and then node app instance equals 0. This is where I would do that. But this is even wrong too, because that equals 0, the app instance, I wonder what my node app instance actually is. Oh. That's something different. All right, I gotta think about that, because if I do PM2 status right now, get out of here. If I do PM2 status, my app instance, if I do 0, it should be something different. So my app instance needs to be the first app instance. But I may not take this route. The reason why is like that app instance is really, I believe, the actual ID here. So for instance, if I do a console log of that, how are we gonna, it should restart here. So if I restart, yeah, so 0. If I make a change to this, console.log app instance, should see that here. No, that's not happening. Ugh. Why isn't it taking? Here. It should restart the session or restart the process based off of this. I have a feeling though it's because of npm start, right? And then if I do logs, great. Yeah, so as you can see here, that's the 3. And if I do just to identify it, test, should reload that. Yeah, so it's doing it, but it's having some other issues, and that's mainly with MongoDB. We're looking for the string for test. So in prod mode, so we're having issues with Mongo. Let's take this out here. Actually, no. I shouldn't do that. Yeah, Mongoose Connect. We're gonna have to just fix that too. But either way, I know this is the problem here, or I know this is what we need to be looking at here. Just waiting for this to output something. I could do this if I probably stub this off to another file as well. I think, yeah, should be able to. Time feedback. Okay. Well, let's just, while that's doing that. So PM2 cluster mode. The cluster mode allows networked Node.js applications to be scaled across all CPUs available without any code modifications. This greatly increases the performance and reliability of your applications depending on the number of CPUs available. Under the hood, this uses Node.js cluster module such that the scaled application's child processes can automatically share server ports. So it pretty much is proxying. All right, cool. So we won't go into how it works here. To enable cluster mode, just pass the I option. So this should already be, we're gonna get out of this. If I go here and I go to system, I have this in my ecosystem file. And then I should have, in terms of the instances, I choose max and then exec mode cluster. And then that's how I do it with an actual, what's it called? Ecosystem file. All right, to spread the app across all CPUs, -1. Max 0 to spread the app across all CPUs. Huh, that's weird. Number to spread across. It's like the same difference. You got two ways to do it, I guess. I do want to add this reload. So I want to see if that is actually being in play or I'm actually using that. So we're going to do that in our server and then services file. And then I want to see how this does it. So instead of restart, there we go. All right, cool. So if I want to do reload, as opposed to restart, which kills and restarts the process, reload achieves a 0 downtime reload to reload app. If the reload system hasn't managed to reload your application, a timeout will fall back to a classic restart. Okay, so it shouldn't really hurt to do that in terms of the difference in how it works. In terms, like, it'll still eventually restart it if there's a problem, is what I mean. So cool, that's done. All right, and I gotta figure that out. But we'll get this going because I definitely want to get this portion done in terms of just like getting the infrastructure down pack with it. All right, so that's done. And this instance ID. So I kind of want to like get all the files and some other stuff. And maybe I can like append to this file here. And I'm using require as a lazy way of bringing the file in so I don't have to do like a read or anything like that. But yeah, and then this kill JSON, it writes this file. You see how it writes that file? So it writes the file and does it. Yeah, it doesn't do like, say, multiple files for all the different instances, right? Because we have, in a sense, one for each core. So we have to accommodate that, in a sense, so, or account for that, I should say. This graceful shutdown, we already have that code in place. So that's good. Statelessify your application. Be sure your application is stateless, meaning that no local data is stored in the process. For example, session, WebSocket connections, session memory, and related. So in terms of like session memory, or it's called sessions and WebSocket connections, that's going to be done through the database, and we store like log in and out sessions and stuff, or actual logged in sessions for users or anything like that that are consuming the API. All right, so that's done there. I think we got that background stuff already done. Guys, give me a sec. I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be back. All right, back. Okay. So a couple of things here, which are, it's pretty cool what I did. I did this like so long ago. Oh my God. I did this so long ago. So I'm trying to like figure out how everything goes. So if I go to get, how long ago I did this, man? TreeStarsystems. I think it was STEM server. Oh, okay, not that long ago, I guess. So June of 2020. Oh wow. Huh. So like you. It is about time I update this though. And get it right. All right, so we want to account for multiple processes or multiple instances. How will we do that? We have our instance ID that gets written, or we have our instance ID that comes from this kill JSON file. Now the thing is, this kill JSON file, we have data that's written. Info.environment. Also having other issues too with MongoDB, it looks like. I've never had two apps running on the same server, so that's an issue to deal with. But hopefully we can solve this. So what I'm going through here in terms of going through my mind here is I'm looking at this PID here, right? Because I'm pretty much writing all of this, or I'm going to be writing all of this to the file, which will be data. Let's check out the structure of that file. So it's one. I mean, what's a way I can do this where takes this info instance. So to understand where you're going, you have to understand where you came from. So let's look at how all this starts. So I do all of this so I can start the instance, status of the instance, and read everything out. PM2 log instance, and that just does log. So I wanted to actually do the name of this. So that's a change I have to make in the startups, in the Node.js script or the boilerplate script. So let me just make that change now. And this is our all right, so PM2 logs, and then I need project name here. So that makes that change there. All right. Let me make sure that's the right command. PM2 log. In this case, Obfuscate underscore bot. Okay, so it's the same thing. All right, or that's the right command. All right, good. Look here too. Oh, Discord bot. Good. But I just want to make sure that command works there. Good. So that change is good, and that is in there. And let's do FG to get back to our file. So this should be fixed in any subsequent uses of that. So let's check PM2 status. And status, I want to do the I want status to do the same thing. So let's Control Z, log status. My status is going to be giving me the same thing, but let me do PM2 configuration restart, logs, static servers, process management. And I know there's I think the solution has already been seen, so I want to note that, but list all running applications to specify the order in which the application is to run or to be listed, showing all application metadata, reset all, monet, PMT. All right, so I wonder if there's a way you can do. You can see how it says like you could do API here. Stop a specified application, stop, and then process ID. Oh, okay, so you can do process ID or name. So in this case, I'll do the name because we can call that, and that should solve our problems, but we'll see how it works with cluster. Cluster mode. Restart that. All right, so it looks like it'll just give me everything. Into status. Yeah, let me just focus on this one here. There's something I saw earlier in terms of how you do it, but it doesn't give me, it doesn't follow this same pattern in terms of just PM2 command or PM2, the command itself, then its subcommand like status or logs, and then the name of the actual app. It doesn't follow that for the status command. All right, PM2 status. Let's look at this cheat sheet here. Okay. My mind wandered a little bit there, guys. PM2 list processes, PM2 list, the status of print information ALS, okay. And you can use whatever you prefer. The list process will look like this. Okay, the output, the output shows basic app and ID for. If you need parsable output, you can use, JList command to receive the output in a JSON format. This is also, there's also pretty list command, beautiful printing. Okay. Oh, okay, that's really cool. So I never knew that. Let's look at that. So you can actually have this output as a JSON object. Now, if it's a JSON object, then I can parse it, so I can do all that stuff. JList. Ah, dang. Okay, that's that. Oof. All right, so do pretty list. Oh, okay, so wait, no, that's not a command. There's also a pretty list command to have a beautiful printing of the process in JSON format. Okay, so it's JList, list all processes in the JSON format, and then pretty list, PM2 pretty list, print JSON and prettify JSON. Okay, so okay, so it's just pretty list. And so that's kind of cool. So I guess JList will do, let's confirm this though. I guess JList is giving me only Obfuscate bot stuff. Let's look at the top, because if anything, it should show fat somewhere in there. Yeah, no, it shows fat. So it gives me an array of JSON objects. Okay, but I can iterate through that if I wanted to, in terms of, you know, taking this output and doing something with it. So that could be useful. And what would be useful about that is if I take this and let's look at what it gives us here. Yeah, so it gives us the PID. Okay, so I might be able to take that, get the PID, grep for anything that only equals. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so get out of here. Let's start something in a trash directory here, and let's go to JSON infrastructure, PM, no, app, framework, JS, so nano, and then I want to run this pretty, I want to run PM2J list. So it looks like it doesn't take the actual app name and do anything with it. So just do that. And if I do PM2J list, it's going to run it, but I need to actually catch that data and do something with it. So we'll do some exec stuff. Let's turn this into a proper app here, or a proper script. I'm just going to copy some stuff from our services script. Service.js. So actually, I'll just copy the service.js script and start that off. Start it off that way. So I will cat server services.js into trash there. All right, cool. And then let's go back into that file, trash. And then here, so all the core stuff is there. In this case, I'll have to back out of this folder and then go to server. Yeah, server core.js, that should be that. And in this case, I won't do any, I won't do anything here. I won't do any of this here. And in terms of the instance ID, yeah, we'll do some stuff here. I'll copy this. In terms of the triggers, I should say, I'll copy this, but I'm gonna comment everything else out here. Oh, instance info gets, okay, that's why that's not that. Right, cool. I'm slowly remembering stuff about what I did. And then this right here, I will call this L for list. I don't think I have anything else. Yeah, all right, cool. L for list. And child process exec sync, and I'll do PM2 How can I get this from, I'm wondering how I can get this from the actual process that's running, right? Because if I can get this from the process that's actually running, let's see if we can do this without doing an actual exec sync. Because this right here, I probably want to make this asynchronous. All right, cool. So This is essentially, we're just going through a script here, or making a Node.js based script. And so that dash L, or what will be dash L, we're going to have it console log, and then we should be getting process. We'll have it process.env. All right, cool. Should be for the app itself. Now, if I go ahead and just run this script, oh, I gotta make it executable to, let's get out of here. And, oh man, what do I wanna do here? I wanna do chmod, change mode plus X. All right, cool. So that should make it executable. And then, all right, cool. So that's good. Usually if you do like tab completion on something that is an actual command, like if that was not executable, so for instance, I could do tab completion on that and it'll find like the first executable file or whatever in the folder. Or in this case, it's the only file. So, and it would list all the other ones there. But if I did chmod -X, so I take away execution. If I did /trash, it won't, like tab completion won't work until, because that was how you would like invoke a command. But if I do it now, tab completion will work. That just tells you that, oh, okay, it's an actual executable, and tab completion will look at it and say, oh, okay, you're trying to possibly get to a file or something like that. If I prepended this with something like nano or whatever, then you would see, if I prepended with nano, then it would come up as a regular file that I can edit and do whatever. Even if it was a binary, I can do that too. But that's kind of one way to say, hey, listen, if it's executable or not. But yeah, it's just something you learn along the way. So let's do this. If I run this, nothing should really happen. Instance info is not defined. Okay. Export anything. All right, cool. Yeah, nothing should happen. Good. All right, so now if I do -L, this is where we get some information. So now I can see everything about the process itself. Anything that I would have stored in the process environment variable is now exposed and available. So in this case, and that again, I pressed the wrong keys. So in this case, I can see everything that's going on here. Running root. Did I even run this right? I don't think I'm running this right. So I should have process.env. With process.env, I should have everything in there that's running for that process. Previous working directory. tests and process.env. Now, let me see if I run that as a process command. The proof command, I never heard of that one before. All right, so process.env. If I run this child process, process.env. All right, let me just check something here. Nano server, and then if I do index, yeah, so process.env there. Now, is it even running properly? So I'm just checking if I'm actually doing the right thing here. I wonder if I'm not running in the right directory. This shouldn't be the case though. Oof. This is pretty disgusting. All right. The way I want to run it, but I'm just going to run this thing here. I have a theory on that, but we'll PM2 JList. And I want to see if I can take this as actual output. So let output equal that, and then console.log output. And again, I'll probably make this asynchronous, so it'll be like a process.exec, and then it'll, I'll have to look up the syntax for that to get that working properly. So console.log output. Yeah, let's run this. Trash. Yeah, so all right, so there's a file. Oh, wow, what did it do is a buffer, not a file, but a buffer. Oh wow. I can convert a buffer to a string. It's kind of what's it called? JS convert buffer to string. Okay. All right, so I can reference this, and if I do that, or since I can do that, I guess I can just do toString on that. Great, yeah, cool. And then since I could do that, then I will do output. I'm just doing it quick and dirty on this, just so I can get to this part. And then we'll just go back here in a second and make this asynchronous, if anything. EI, so we're just going to use for each. And then in terms of every output, output or E dot, and then I should be able to go through the PID of this. So let's look at how this comes out. It's easier to go to the top. There we go. So, all right, cool. So I can do PID name. So then what I'll do is an if statement. So if name equals, and then I can do a console.log EID. If name equals project name. If e.name equals project name. Cool. So then if it equals the project name, then give me the ID. So I should have 4 of them. There's outputs. Oop. For each is not a function. Why is it not a function on this? Output dot for each. Oh, it is a string. So if it's a string, then I have to, and then okay, so I have to do JSON parse. JSON.parse is it's a string, so I have to or it's a JSON object written as a string, so it has all the quotes and everything like that. So I have to run JSON.parse. Now, if I wanted to actually make it a string, I'd be like JSON.stringify, and then it'll write it as a string to a file, which is the proper way of writing a JSON object to a file for readability and everything like that. And then you just use parse to go back. You don't have to necessarily. You can just write the raw JSON, and it'll still be able to parse it in some cases. But you just have to account for the cases where, that file is not, or whatever process function or whatever doesn't know that. So it's best to just write it as a string and then parse it back if it's necessary. All right, so yeah, so it should be, all right, so it's undefined. All right, but it's good. So it's going through it. In this case, ID is wrong. It should be PID. But it gave me 4 of them, so that's good. All right, so I got 4 IDs. Now, if I did PS-EF and then grep, so like PS is like for processes and -EF is from triggers that I know by heart, and I don't know what they mean off the top of my head. But if I do these numbers here, or one of these numbers, should give me one of my processes here. So yeah, so it gives me this here. Cool. Discord bot index.js. So that's good. So now, I mean, that's nice. We can use PM2 JList to do whatever we need to, and we can make it asynchronous. So let's get that going. Async child process exec. I wonder if there's like a problem with using that. Node.js. Sorry, just checking for this email. I have a discussion I want to get. I'm trying to like get set up here. Contacted another YouTuber and see if she wants to talk about adoption, and if guys in the space within the Black Manosphere actually want to talk about adoption or thinking about adoption, because I've thought about it too. I've thought about surrogacy and some other stuff, but it's like, surrogacy is an expensive one, but then, there's already kids that are here. In the space, we talk about, not wanting to take care of another man's seed or child or anything like that. But then we also think about, going forward with our legacy, mentorship, and other things. And one of the things you can definitely do is, this is something that I've, started to believe in. It's like, we have all these kids but there's so many kids out there that do need a quote unquote home, and they're in the system and they just need somebody that quote unquote cares. So why not see if you can adopt? So yeah, I'm kind of checking that out, and I want to explore that a little bit. So yeah, child process. And child process, the exec file fork spawn. All right, so exec, this should be the asynchronous method of doing it. I don't see the sync. Sync is, asynchronous process creation. Yeah, nobody likes sync anyway. Everybody gets away from it, says don't do it because of course it blocks the process or the event loop. But sometimes you want to do that. You want to do synchronous because you want to just kill it and just stop it. Everything grinds to a halt. All right, so let's make this asynchronous. And to make this asynchronous, everything will happen within the asynchronous call itself. So we'll just be writing all this code inside of the asynchronous call. What I'll do here. Child process exec sync. Okay, asynchronous child process. And then we have our command. I should just know how to do this. Anyways, yeah. Bro, my mind is like not into it right now in terms of just like staying focused. Command options callback. There will be no callback in this, so we can just do an arrow function. Wait, yeah, is it an arrow function? Exact path to. Is it an arrow function? I mean, yes. Yeah, our callback should be an arrow function. So we want to run our command. In this case, it is pm2 jlist. Well, I don't have it as a template literal. And then, what do we call it? Or what do we want our callback to be? We want it to be, we can put an output, I guess. Output. Yeah, I think we do output. Oh, is there anything else that we have to do here? So options, callback. So, okay, error, standard out, standard error. Oh, okay, this is what we got for our callback. All right, so I can't use output. I need error, and std out. Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of people would like an std out of their body. Oh. All right, so in this case, string or buffer. Oh, that's kind of cool. So string returns child process. Here we go. Here we go now. I'm just reading over this. This is what I'm gonna do here. Oh. std error. Out. std error. We're gonna do. Here we go. All right, so in this case, wait. This, you can just block this off, or block, do a block comment. And this here, error, std out, std error. Then from here, console log, console error. What I want is that std out. So return exec error. Process error, and then error, and then return, and then std out, console log. I just need that std out though, so I don't want it in that. In this case, I will take a bit of that code up there, but I won't copy it though. Let's see what it gives me. I want to see. Yeah, well, okay. We'll just use what we got, right? All right, cool. I don't necessarily want error or standard error out. All right, great. So it gives me as an actual string. So once I have that, let's do let output equal std out. And then we'll just do all of our work, or we will do all our transformations to it in terms of that string. Based on that parse, parse.std out. I don't have to do the toString anymore. Now that I have output, now I can do my for each again. And I don't have to put it back in there. Yeah, cool. And I can get rid of this block here. All right, cool. JList runs and boom, gives me the same thing. Great. So now it's asynchronous. I mean, it's really that easy because the functions are there and it's established within Node.js. So it's not really hard to make this stuff asynchronous. You just got to do the little bit of work and then change the way in which certain things are executed. And then everything will be within, excuse me. It'll be within like an actual function or something like that. Within, it'll have a bit of a it changes the difference in the hierarchy and everything like that. So once you get that, get that in your skull, then it's not really that hard to deal with. Now with this, that means I can do like, you see how it has like all the K, like I can do like I have the dash K trigger here defined. I can just stop all my instances like that. But in this case, I wanted to list all my instances. So I want to actually do something a little bit different. Let's take up the whole screen. So in this case, I'll have a custom list, if you will. Come on. All right, so if I do PM2, maybe I can I don't know if this will be the prettiest, but I can have something, I can have a nice little output. And that could be like a JSON object if I wanted to, or something like that. Like a -LJ. I don't even know if you can do 2 letters. Oh no, maybe you can. Anyways, PM2 and then status. Right, and you see how we have this here. I don't need all this per se. But maybe I want. Yeah, I mean, I don't need all of that. And I don't know how to get every bit of that either. So we'll have to break this down. Some of that stuff is here in terms of, yeah, okay, so let's do this. JList. Oh, pretty, that's 3 Ys, pretty list. And that makes it easier to read here. Excusez-moi. So this is the fun stuff in terms of like, you know, building a better infrastructure for your app. Instances 0. That's weird. Yeah, building a better infrastructure for your app that can that can be reused and easily manipulated. You know, restarting things, starting things, and then of course that entire like mechanism of going back and forth, that actually working properly. All right. Stop stalling. What I'm going to do is reactivate the dash K. And I'm going to reactivate that, but I can do stop instead of instance ID. Again, like kind of getting off of this here, because I can do some other stuff with that, but that wasn't our primary goal here. But we want to do PM2 stop and then the project name itself. And one of the things to doing that, so if I look at my statics here, I should be able to run this, stop it, and then it should just stop it based off of that project name. So I want to do PM2 stop and then the actual project name, which gets inputted there. So actually, let's look at the documentation, and we can do stop all, or we can do stop and then the name. All right, cool. So stop and the name. I mean, kind of did all that just to do this anyway. Okay. And PM2 status. Hey, that's it. I mean, that's really it. That's all there is to it. All right, so we can do that down here as well. And then that should kill all of even the clustered processes as well, so we don't have to worry about that. And that actually fixes this. We probably want to do this in an asynchronous manner. Do we? I mean, I did mention earlier, it's like, hey, listen, you just want this shit to stop. That's it. Hard stop. Don't write anything else. Yeah. I might want to do a custom status script, though. That I probably want to do. Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. Oh. Do I want to do that? Yeah, that fixes that. We can do. Oh, okay. Yeah, I won't change the boilerplate project yet. I do have to upload these. I keep not uploading some of these changes here. Reload all, and then reload instance ID. Where it says instance ID, we kind of want to get rid of that. We'll work through those one by one, though. Let's just uncomment these and actually go ahead and do that. We don't need this here. Don't need that. Let's work on this one. So do we want it to be synchronous? I mean, if something is synchronous, it'll block the event loop. You want anything else to run at all? Maybe we have some other processes going. Yeah, okay, I will break on that one. And copy this. And it'll be a pretty much copy and paste from here. And that's why it's a template literal, to answer a question I posed to myself earlier. It's a template literal because, you know, it is. Okay. I don't think I really need to parse anything here. Yeah, I don't. I mean, if I process stop, yeah, I'm gonna need a. I mean, I could do the error, but yeah, I don't think I need to process anything here. Okay, child process. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry. Let me turn this damn TV up. Seeing like all this stuff, like. All right. Cool. You know, like when you stop Netflix and then it starts to show like all the different things that you can actually watch and whatever. So like I see that in the reflection behind me. That was like throwing me off a little bit. So in this case, I'm just going to convert everything to what do they call that again? To an asynchronous call for all these different commands, and go from there. Ooh, excuse me. I also have to change this instance info. I mean, because I may not have to really do all that. It's like see all the kill and all this other stuff and getting the PID. Oh no, that I need to do though. I do need to write these files. Do I? I really don't. Whoa, this changes everything. I rethink how I'm doing like all my different apps and stuff. Stuff. All right, so this is how I kill, and this is nice because PM2 allows you to do it by name. One thing that's kind of nice is like I'm reusing some of the things that are already there. There's some new things that I'm actually implementing, so that's changing how we're doing all of this. All right, so I think we're good here, and I think we're good in terms of how this looks. I don't need anything, for a success. I just need it to run, and that's it. Now I can console log some other stuff. I don't really need that. Yeah. I guess I could be a little bit more descriptive and do some other stuff with it, but in this case, I don't need to do that. So in this case, I'll just do status because I can't. And maybe I could do, this is where I can do the default, not the default, but the custom status output. That would be kind of cool. So let's do standard output. Yeah, let's do the fun stuff here. So with status, I only wanted to give me the status of the process that I'm working with or the project that I'm working with. So that's this is how it looks down here. The thing is, can I do it where I have it and I have it in cluster mode, all these other things here. I would assume these things are always there. I need to get the ID. That would be nice to have the ID. And then it just output is like one long line. That'd be kind of cool. And that'd be kind of cool if you have something where you have this updating and you have this on the screen or something like that. I don't know. Writing to a database even. Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, it seems like a worthwhile endeavor. So what we'll do is make this a full-on function or multi-line function. by adding our curly braces, and we'll do a for each. In this case, I will don't know. Yeah, I don't want to put this in like a JSON object or anything. I was just thinking about that. But what we'll do is console log status string and let status string equal a template literal. And what we want to do is kind of like what we did in a previous video, where we changed the way we view the status, or the way the status is reported by the what is it called? By the main process, or like here. So as you can see, we have obfuscate bot, and then the status number, and then whatever the message is. So in this case, we're gonna have that, and we're gonna have the PI. No, we're gonna have the ID. Yeah, we're gonna have the ID. All right, cool. Let's see how this actually looks. Here we go. There we go. So we have PID, PM2 environment, version. So we have the name and the PID. So let's just start with that. Name, and then that, and then I want something else there, but so I'm gonna have PID. What would be our separator here? PID dash, and then e.PID. Those are just referencing the item here in the JSON, or the key in the JSON object that's outputted there. PID, and then so we could do that. I could do a / as the separator. I usually like the separators to be like to denote actual sections, and then certain things are repeated. You know, I can have this output as a JSON object as well, and go from there. Oh, I got a question. Hey, I got a question like 6 minutes ago. Sorry. Carlos Villette says, why don't you use an IDE when you code? Comfortability, or just comfort. So in terms of like when I started programming and everything like that, there wasn't Visual Studio Code from what I remember. I remember how long it's been out, but I have to move from system to system, and then sometimes the systems I work on, I have to remote into. Now, you do with Visual Studio Code, you have the SSH package. You can also use SSH and use an SSHFS. So you can like log into a server, or you can view all the files and access all the files for a server via SSH if you wanted to, and then work on them, and then mount that. You can actually have that mounted to a directory or as a drive on your local computer. And Visual Studio Code does have that. But it was just always easier to do this. So like when I first started to really code, which was like not that long ago, but I was always used to coding on a server, coding a script or anything like that on the server itself. So I would always use Screen, and then whatever text editor, which is usually Pico or Nano, or now known as Nano. I never use Vim or anything like that. You can use Visual Studio Code. It has great things like text highlighting and stuff like that. When I kind of started to dabble in okay, at least glanced over at coding, not did it, but like just glanced over at it, there was like the Sublime text editor. There's of course Notepad++. But a lot of this stuff is like Visual Studio Code is fairly new. Let's actually look how old it is. But it's really comfort. So I'm just comfortable doing it like this. VS Code initial release. And I've talked about that. So I've talked about that before. So Visual Studio Code, April 2016. Today we're very proud to release version 1.0 of Visual Studio Code. So yeah, out in 2016. Now, was I started? I think I started. Oh, I don't remember. I don't think I really started coding. I started to code another project, which is the Growbox project, which is on my my GitHub, and that link to that is in the description, so you can actually view my GitHub and look at all my different projects and everything else like that. But I mean, Visual Studio Code was already out, but the whole me being comfortable doing this, I was already doing this. And what's also nice is and I don't want to like be wrong, but as I know it, I guess that's the best way to not be wrong. But as I know it, Visual Studio Code doesn't have like a phone app, so I can actually use Termius on my mobile device, and I can access a screen session. I can keep a screen session open. It'll be persistent. I can always go back to it. In terms of like a computer, I can be on any computer in any coffee shop or what have you, if you want to go that far, and find a way to get to some type of terminal emulator or something like that, like Putty, download it real quick and not install it, but then I can run it, and then I can be right back into my IDE or my development environment. But yeah, so that's why it's a short answer, which I gave in the beginning, is just comfort. But to be very honest, Visual Studio Code has some benefits, and I do use it for some projects, but not very often, to be honest. I use it if I'm like doing stuff on Windows, and I think I have it on this computer. So yeah, I do have it on this computer. I use it when I have to do a what is that thing called again? When I'm doing, oh man, what app? The not Chrome. It's Chrome based. Electron apps. When I'm like working on my Electron apps, then yeah, that's when I use Visual Studio Code for that. And I freaking love the text highlighting. It's freaking great, especially when you get like a nice like theme and color theme or a color theme and everything like that, or set up colors for a theme, and you get it set just right. It's freaking beautiful. But yeah, so comfort. All right, so continuing on. Sorry it took so long. I just wasn't looking over there, and my mind's been running on some other things. So PID would be that. I guess I could say like PID equals. All right, cool. Let's look at what else is in this JSON object here. And monet memory and CPU 0.02. Okay, so PMID is what I'm looking for here. So e.pm underscore ID. So there's that, and then process ID. All right, that's cool. And then if I wanted to do CPU usage, and then that would be E dot. Let's copy and paste this, or copy that, and then I'll do monet, and then in this case, CPU. Oh man, now I gotta like convert that, and so I'd have to divide it by 1024, I believe. I'll look what it's how it actually comes out, but yeah, so memory usage. Let's just do this because I want to write usage CPU. Memory. And memory. And so I do 1024. I can do 1024. Let's see how this. What else we got here? Environment. Oh, did I reach the end of that already? What did I just do? Right, there you go. So that's PM2 information. Don't think I need all that. Yeah. Uptime. I kind of want to know what the port is, so that would be kind of nice. And then, what is that? What's the reference to that? Oh, okay, so port, big letters. And then what else we need to do? And then environment. Environment. Environment up here. Yeah. And then that'll be node underscore env. And you'll notice, of course, that's passed through the ecosystem file, or was passed through the ecosystem file. And you can look that up on GitHub, githubs.com/treestarsystems. And then this project is the Obfuscate bot. And that should be in there under the system folder, and then ecosystem.config.js. And within that, you'll see that I have my port or my environment type, which is like I have prod and dev, and I never use dev. And go from there. But I have it there for a reason, because I need to start using stuff like that. Just for like working with bigger projects that can't be down if I'm testing anything, stuff like that, which I kind of just ran into recently. So I have something that's live and it really can't be down if I'm testing stuff. So I'll have to start getting an actual quote unquote, an actual real dev environment. So this should be all the other system stuff here, all the shell stuff. Okay. All right, JSON, PM2 usage, CLI. Look at that. You get the environment variable, gives you all that stuff here. It's crazy when you look through some of these things, how some of the things are repetitive, but it's repetitive for, different systems that use it and stuff like that. Node app instance. So I have that in the PM ID. PM ID is 4. Instance 0, or instances 0, which is crazy. And then I have PMID again right here. Like, whoa. All right, cool. So that makes me think, what was I referencing here? Maybe it's just like a sub key. I'll probably have an issue here in a second. Yeah, this is a part of the PM2 sub key, or the PM2 env sub key. Yeah, I'll probably have an issue there. So project name. You know what? I should get this project name. No, I'll get the project name from there. So I'm not going to worry about that. The PM2 ID and then the E node environment. So this I need to get from PM2 underscore env dot that. And then from there, So Carlos Villette, what area of coding do you specialize in? I'm a full stack developer, but in terms of specialty or what I like and what my affinity is, that would be back-end coding, creating APIs, consuming APIs, retrieving data from other APIs, which is the consuming part, and then ingesting that information, writing it to databases, and then putting that information back out via, making that data, like normalizing that data if I needed to. So some of the things in the ETL process, I do not do enough of that, and I want to do more. But some of the things that you see in the ETL process, which is the extract, transform, and load. Extract, transform, and damn it! Oh my god! And load. I want to say load. Damn it! I forgot what ETL means. That's not good. Damn, that's how far like out I'm on that stuff. But oof. Load ETL. Extract, transform. I want to say load, but that's not right. I have it on my website. Jesus. Treestarsystems. ETL. ETL. Yeah, it was right. Damn, I thought I was wrong. So yeah, it is extract, transform, and load. Sorry, I had to look that up. But yeah, I work with. I want to work more with that and do more in terms of data sciences, but mainly just getting information from separate sources, and then like Excel spreadsheets or anything else like that, or forms, and then getting that information from one spot to the next. So, for instance, recently I launched a project for my day job, which is it's just a form for new hires. They fill it out. Then that information gets taken, ingested, and then presented in other areas and other tools or pages. And then once it gets approved, then it goes over to a service like ClickUp or even Zendesk. And then I can create tickets and do other things. So if there's an API, I can communicate with it or even send out emails and all types of other stuff. So I like to do little tools like that, or I like to work on things like that. And I guess just to reiterate, in terms of specialty, I'm a back-end API or a back-end coder. So this is what I use, and I visualize things in JSON objects and output and stuff like that. So when I look at this stuff, I don't really visualize it as, okay, this is going to be filled in a form for the user interface or something like that. I really visualize it as, okay, this is the JSON object, and this is the structure that I'm going to put it out as. Do I have it represented in an array or not? How do I standardize my output and things like that? And that's kind of how I visualize data and think about these things. But good question, though. I appreciate the interest. Okay, cool. All right. So PID usage. CPU, memory. Excuse me. So port. That should be under the same thing too. PID environment. I think that's it. I don't know if I need much else other than that. Mem user. So yeah, I don't need that. CPU usage, it does it in percentage. The uptime. Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. So we'll see that. We got the PID there. That's cool. It doesn't. Where's the memory? Yeah, mem's right here in megabytes. And you don't know if that's like capital B or lowercase b or just stylized that because the preceding M is not capitalized. So I don't know how that should actually look. So in that case, so we can do NPM because we're doing it for NPM here. Oh, okay, no, it's not NPM. And we're doing S. What? Unexpected token in JSON. Status. Oh, I don't need to do that. I need to do stop. I need to do PM2. I need to do JList. Yeah, I need to do JList. There we go. All right, so we got the name, the process IDs there, the environment, which is production, and then a PID, which is totally screwed up. All right, so let's, why is that screwed up? Because I didn't encase it in curly braces. All right, and a $sign. Yeah, so we have our template literals here. It's only that. And then CPU is 0. Memory is not applicable. Or, no, sorry, not NAN is not a number. 1024 memory. Memory most likely is written as a string, so that's why it's doing that. And I can convert it. E.memory is, okay. Oh, okay, that's why it's not a number, because it's not defined. And that is probably the same thing here. Not a number. It's not divided. It's undefined. All right, so oh, that should be monet. Yeah, that should be monet. That's why. All right, monet. All right, memory is 0. So why is memory 0? Also, what is the current status of it? So what I want to do here is get the current status. Is it on? Is it not? And then memory. So monet memory, monet.memory. Yeah, I should have a little bit more for memory on that one. All right, we'll figure that out. And then we want to see if it's online or not and how that's represented here in this JSON object. We have our namespace, default, instances, window, tree, automation. Okay. So what key does that, or what key gives me that information? And I expect it to say something like online. But it might be something like, status, status, and then the status might be true or false. And then that gets turned into online or not. Status, online. Okay, cool. So that should be status. No, I'll just do it like E dot. That should be PM2 environment dot status. Stopped. Okay, great. So stopped. And I like the spacing, so that makes it a little bit easier to read. So, all right, great. So that's why it's taking up 0 in terms of memory. That problem solves that problem. if it was considered one, right? And memory, man, I want to say let's just divide that by 1,000. And go from there. So now, if we do something like that, memory 1,000, okay. Oh man, yeah. God. Again, this is just me being picky in terms of, not picky, but I guess maybe OCD, I guess, and trying to standardize the look of all of this in terms of separators. Memory port. All right. I guess our CPU should be a percentage, and then our memory would be MB. Yeah. And you can turn this into a whole function and do a whole bunch of ifs and stuff like that. And, that could actually be, there's a function that if you want to convert something based on the input, what's the length of the input? And then you could say, okay, is it megabytes or megabits, gigabits, stuff like that. But yeah, so, and then if I do npm start, right, so now if I do status online, my CPU percentage, I don't know if it should be 30-some%, but yeah, that many megabytes right there, so, or megabits. So 24, and then whatever that CPU divided by 100. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's kind of crazy. 1%. Let's see what status. Yeah, CPU 0. And then it looking like that, I think we could do a dot round. So if I do JS round, I think it's like dot round is the function or the built-in function. Yeah, round, and then you can do how many places, round the number nearest integer. Around 2, we round it down to 2, we round it up. All right, cool. Math.round. Oh, okay, so math.round. All right, cool. So here, you want to do, okay, math.round. And you can do things like math.floor, math.ceiling. So I think does that round up or down? Yeah, like if you wanted to round up every time for a number. Oh man, I forgot math.floor, math.ceiling. Let's see here. We can find it here. Floor. So math.floor, rounding number downward to its nearest integer. So this should actually round down to 1, I believe. All right, yeah. Try it. Yeah, it should round it down to 1. All right, cool. So that's there. Ooh, that may not be the best. It'll probably just show 0% in our custom script. Yeah, so 0.004. Okay, that's not as bad as I thought. I thought it was going to be like just 0 all the time. And then this right here, megabit. All right. Oh, we're going to do divided by another 1024. Let's see if it matches our mem here. So you're like 58, 57, stuff like that. So yeah, there we go. All right, cool. And then we'll just do math that round on that one as well. So we can get our output to look a little bit nicer. And it's good to do like custom output scripts like this because it gives you what you actually want, as opposed to, you know, getting the standard output. Maybe you want to actually take this information and again put it in a database, or send an email out every so often. That would be nice, you know, like you say, oh, okay, your system's doing this, your system's doing this, your system's doing this, so on and so forth. All right, cool. So we got MB. All right. And that is big B. So because I'm doing it by 1024 as opposed to I'm doing it by 1024 as opposed to by 1,000, because if you do it by 1,000, that's small b. And that would be mostly for data transfer, like megabits, and then storage as well. But usually like RAM and stuff like that will be big B as opposed to little b, which is for your data transfer speeds and stuff like that. So that's good to know, because people that really know how this output, how things are supposed to look, they'll know that. They'll be like, hey man, that's wrong. Or it's not outputting, or that's not accurate. Okay, so PID usage, so CPU memory. That's the sound of the train passing by my house. Yeah, yeah. All right, so online, obfuscate, PID. All right, great. So that's done. All right, so that's good for our status script. We can actually get a nice status out of this. We can even, you know, take this status information and put it in a JSON format. So we'll probably do that as well. So we'll do like a -J. Ooh, fancy. All right, cool. So copy that. Output's going to be pretty much the same. We're going to change the trigger. And we're going to need to do so this one we'll do it in an array, and status array, and this will be in, since it's a for each, let status array, excuse me. And that's usually how I want to represent an empty array. And then status string, status object, we'll change that too. And yeah, we'll just put all their stuff in here. So in this case, we will change this to this. Let's just get our, how you're gonna have this looking, and this will be like e dot whatever, and then that. We have, let's see how many things we have here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things that we have to put out in a object. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and close this JSON object here. All right, cool. So status.object. And thanks for those that are rocking with me. You know, this helps me as much as this helps me more than it helps you guys. This is just a way for me to stay on top of what I'm doing and be quote unquote honest to myself Sorry, got a text message. Hey, bro. I'm gonna end this here in a little bit as well. Almost done. Got to make a phone call, it looks like. All right. So we'll do things like status. No, we want to do name first. Name, status. What else we want to do? Instance. All right. Or yeah, we'll say instance. I won't say like PM2 ID or anything else like that. Yeah, I want to just say instance. Yeah, I'll just reference it as instance. And then we'll do environment. So that'll be environment variable. And then we'll do PID, CPU, PID, port, CPU. And this doesn't really totally matter. It's a JSON object, so it could be outputted in many different ways. It usually is going to be outputted in the way that you put it in. But order is not always defined depending on what you're using and how you're parsing this data. So or order is not always maintained, I should say. So CPU, and then we'll do memory. And we just got to fill it in. So the .name should be this here. And we're getting that from, I don't think I really mind getting it this way because I'm just getting it from core vars. But that could be problematic. So we don't need to, we didn't even put the E's in there. So instance, PM2 ID, environment, node, PID, right, so what I need the port. CPU. Some math around. This is the tedious stuff, you have to deal with on a regular basis. Also, this is one of the things that you look at, right? Like when you're doing backend code, how do you want this data to be represented? Do you want it to be pre-formatted or do you want it to be raw? I usually like to go for raw, and then whatever system you use on the front end, it starts to do all the formatting for you in terms of like, how it looks or how it's represented. So I usually like to do just raw. So in this case, take this out, take all that out. And then it just gives it to me raw that way. And then I'm going to, for each instance, status array, or for each iteration as it goes through the for each, or as it goes through the array itself, it goes through the output array that we have up here. For each one of those, I want it to push into the my custom status array. So push, and then we're going to push our status object. And then at the end of that, because for each is asynchronous, and if I did like a console log down here, then it wouldn't run. So then I'll do an if statement here. I'll write it as a guard clause, or the guard statement, or guard clause, I think is what it said. So if output dot length -1 equals I, then console my status array. And then that should do it. Like after it runs, then go ahead and do this. All right, cool. So, or only do this on the last iteration or the last, the last iteration of this function. Essentially, we are in a function there. So, okay. Boom. All right, so that should just give us one big array. And then with that array, then now we can actually go ahead and do whatever we need to. So it gives us our CPU and everything. Why is our CPU coming out as like 0.4 here, but before it wasn't? So what I like to, I like seeing this, or oh, there we go. All right, cool. So I like seeing it this way. The CPU 0.4. But I do want some kind of consistency here, right? Because if I did -s, is it 0.4? No, it's just 0. So it rounds it down. But you can kind of see, like, you know, if anything, I could actually run the -j and then run, and then -s calls j and then does this. But I would probably, like, you know, break it out to another function or separate function or something like that. All right, so I'm going to end it here. There's a couple of things I have to do. There's some problems that I ran into that we solved, or we started to solve, and I got to make a phone call. And then after that, I'll get back working on this and hopefully have the infrastructure looking a lot better. Oh, wow, a whole bunch of buses came back. I guess they're on a field trip. I'll have the infrastructure looking a lot better on the next time we do a live stream, which will actually be tomorrow night. So hopefully I can have it done by then. All right, guys, as always, man, thanks for watching. Those that are watching the playback, I appreciate you greatly. And for those, you know, that do need help or have any questions, be sure to ask me. You know, I'm here to help you guys out. As always, peace, and I appreciate your eyes and your views.